everyone, my name is Dana.
My name is Jackie.
My name is Justel.
My name is Jordan.
Our presentation today will focus on how we decided to design our facility based on our collective research. Here's our table of contents of everything we will cover today: the introduction, type of facility chosen and why, general characteristics of the facility, characteristics of the offender, philosophy of punishment, staff, services, privilege system, problem areas, and the conclusion. Starting off with the introduction, it's basically just talking about the correctional system in the past and our juvenile rehabilitation facility. So the correctional system in the past has focused on retribution and deterrence as punishment. However, the focus for our juvenile rehabilitation facility will be centered on rehabilitation. For the location, we chose Albuquerque, New Mexico. This decision was chosen due to the high crime rates from the year 2024. With this alarming rate, it demonstrates how youth are exposed to crime in that area. Another reason why this location was chosen is because the research collected explains that this location has a majority of resources that offer rehabilitative services, mental health services, vocational training, and educational services. Overall, our main goal with the inclusion of the design and research would be for juveniles to reintegrate into society after receiving the required services they need and provide it through humane treatment, since in history there has been more punishment rather than rehabilitation. As a whole, rehabilitation and staff intervention are the key contributors to the design and how the facility will operate. As for the type of facility chosen and why, there are a few reasons why we decided to talk about a juvenile rehabilitation facility. The first being that we wanted to focus on a population that did not commit serious crimes, such as delinquent acts and status offenses. A few examples are petty theft, simple assault like getting into fights, and truancy, so running away. However, we would like to emphasize that children who commit crimes have diminished culpability and a greater capacity for change than adults. In simpler terms, this just means that they are less responsible for the crimes they committed compared to adults. And on the right, there's an image of an adult's brain compared to a child's brain. Also, this has a lot to do with their brain development, since a juvenile's brain is not fully developed until the age of 25. Due to this fact, research explains how there is an issue with the prefrontal cortex, since it is the area where decision-making occurs. Without this area being fully developed, they are more impulsive and act without thinking. With that in mind, it's necessary to implement this type of facility and to apply intervention through services that juveniles need. As I stated previously, some of these examples are vocational training and educational services. The key point for all this is to explain how a rehabilitative environment at a rehab facility is beneficial, since they have the opportunity to learn, grow, and change as a person. For the general characteristics of the facility, we chose for the facility to be an urban setting style layout or a cottage campus style layout. The cottages will be in small living units where the juveniles will be staying. So this image here is just showing what we would imagine the cottages to look like. As for the security level chosen for this population, the ideal choice is medium security, since these are individuals who do not commit serious crimes, such as murder, for example. And the perimeter for this facility will have high-rise fences to keep out individuals who are not supposed to enter the building and to prevent the juveniles from leaving. Overall, the framework for the design is based on the Missouri model's core principles. And the core principles stated here are offering small living units to foster a school environment rather than confinement, which is why we chose cottages. And second, this also involves juveniles not being isolated or in isolated cells. And third, adequate staff supervision to form a connection with juveniles. Moving on to what should be included for the layout of the facility. Our facility will have communal areas, a recreational center, visitation spaces, bathrooms, classrooms, and counseling rooms, and also a front office. All these spaces in the layout correlate with the regulations for the state of New Mexico, and this is important since everything must be according to code and built around state law. Overall, this allows the development of an efficient rehab facility, which allows juveniles to begin their treatment and therapy.
After hearing about the background and purpose of the facility, I will now discuss the characteristics of the juvenile offenders in New Mexico and the rehabilitation-based philosophy used within the juvenile justice system. These topics are important because understanding the challenges these youth face helps explain why rehabilitation is often more effective than punishment alone. The population being discussed includes male juveniles between the ages of 13 and 17 who have been involved in delinquent or criminal behavior. Many of these youth are still developing emotionally, mentally, and socially. Because adolescents are still learning decision making and coping skills, intervention during these years can greatly influence their future behavior and reduce long term involvement in crime. Many juvenile offenders in New Mexico come from difficult environments. Poverty, unstable housing, exposure to violence, and limited educational opportunities are common factors in their lives. These conditions can create stress and increase the chances of juveniles becoming involved in delinquent behavior. In many cases, these youth may not have consistent support systems or positive role models to guide them. Educational struggles are also very common among justice involved youth. Many juveniles perform below grade level before entering correctional facilities. Poor academic performance can limit future opportunities and make it harder to succeed after release. And this is why rehabilitation facilities often include tutoring, GED preparation, and structured academic programs to help juveniles improve their education and future opportunities. Mental health and behavioral challenges are another major issue. Many juveniles experience trauma, anxiety, depression, or behavioral disorders that may have gone untreated for years. Some have also struggled with substance use, which can make rehabilitation even more difficult. Family instability, gang influence, and lack of structure can contribute to poor decision making and behavioral problems. Because of this, rehabilitation programs must include counseling, behavioral support, and structured routines to help juveniles develop healthier habits and coping skills. This connects directly to the philosophy of punishment used in juvenile rehabilitation facilities. Instead of focusing only on punishment, the juvenile justice system focuses on rehabilitation because juveniles have a greater ability to change than adults. And the goal is to help youth correct their behavior, reduce recidivism, and successfully reintegrate back into society. Although rehabilitation is the main focus, accountability is still important. Juveniles are expected to follow rules and understand the consequences of their actions. However, the discipline used in these facilities is designed to encourage growth and responsibility rather than simply punish the offender. Structured discipline helps create stability and teaches important life skills. Rehabilitation programs often include counseling, education, vocational training, and life skills development. Counseling can help juveniles address trauma and emotional struggles, while educational and vocational programs prepare them for future employment opportunities. Life skills training teaches communication, conflict resolution, and decision making skills that are necessary for success outside the facility. Another important part of rehabilitation is reentry support. Many juveniles return to the same environments that contributed to their behavior in the first place. Without support after release, the risk of reoffending increases. Reentry programs help juveniles transition back into schools, families, and communities by providing structure, supervision, and continued support. Overall, the rehabilitation-based juvenile justice model focuses on helping juveniles make positive changes and successfully return to society. By addressing educational, behavioral, and environmental challenges, these programs aim to reduce repeat offending and create better long-term outcomes for youth and their communities.
A crucial part of this juvenile male rehabilitation facility in Albuquerque, New Mexico, is the integration of a well-structured staffing model alongside comprehensive service programming. Because this facility is designed with a rehabilitative philosophy rather than a purely punitive one, both staff roles and institutional services are built around the long-term behavioral change. Research shows that juveniles require a different approach than adult offenders. According to Kelly Richards, juvenile offenders require a higher duty of care. This is largely because adolescents are still developing emotionally, psychologically, and socially. Because of this, staff are expected not only to maintain safety and security, but also to act as educators, mentors, and support systems. To ensure proper supervision, the facility uses an integrative staffing model that prioritizes safety while also focusing on individualized rehabilitation. Correctional officers form the foundation of daily operations, but unlike those in adult facilities, they receive specialized training. This includes trauma-informed care, crisis intervention, and conflict resolution. Their role goes beyond enforcing rules. They are responsible for building respectful, positive relationships with the juveniles. This emphasis on respect is critical. Research by Taylor and Fader highlights that visible signs of respect help young people feel valued and support their transition into adulthood. By fostering mutual respect, staff can encourage better communication, trust, and openness, all of which are essential for rehabilitation. Beyond security staffs, counselors and case managers play a key role in rehabilitation. Each juvenile is assigned a case manager upon arrival. These professionals assess educational levels, mental health needs, family background, and behavioral history, and overall the risk of reoffending. Based on these assessments, individualized rehabilitation plans are created. These plans include services such as individual therapy, group counseling, and behavioral intervention programs. These programs address issues like anger management, substance abuse, trauma, emotional regulation, and decision making. Since many juveniles entering the system have experienced abuse, neglect, or violence, mental health support is heavily emphasized. Individual counseling provides personalized support, while group therapy helps develop communication skills and healthy relationships. Healthcare services are also essential. Medical staff, including physicians, nurses, and mental health professionals, provide consistent care throughout each juvenile stay. Education is another major pillar of rehabilitation. Certified teachers and academic coordinators provide instruction aligned with New Mexico state standards. Many juveniles enter the system with academic challenges such as truancy or learning disabilities, so educational programs will focus on improving literacy, academic performance, and high school completion rates. In addition to traditional subjects like math, science, and language arts, the facility offers vocational training programs. These include areas such as culinary arts, landscaping, and woodshop. These hands-on opportunities not only teach the practical job skills, but also help build confidence and provide positive outlets for emotional expression. Finally, the facility offers optional religious and spiritual services. Chaplain programs provide mentorship guidance and emotional support for those who choose to participate. These services can help juveniles reflect on their actions, develop emotional stability, and build stronger sense of purpose. Overall, this facility's approach combines structured staffing, individualized care, education, and support services to create an environment focused on rehabilitation and long-term success.
Our privilege system is designed to encourage accountability, emotional growth, and positive behavior rather than relying on punishment. Juveniles will move through three levels based on counseling, participation, education, cooperation, and behavior. As the juveniles progress, they will earn additional privileges, responsibilities, and leadership opportunities. The system is meant to prepare them to be able to pack into society while still maintaining structure, supervision, and discipline within the facility. For the first level, we considered it orientation, where it's close supervision, overall introduction to roles and expectations in the facility, behavioral and mental health assessments, restricted privileges, and this level will focus on structure, stability, and adjustments. For the second one, it will be progression, where it's increased visitation, participating in counseling and education is required. This level encourages accountability and positive behavior, development of emotional regulation skills, and more independence will be earned through this consistency. For level three, this will be the highest privilege level. Leadership and peer mentoring opportunities, larger independence and responsibilities. It will be prepped to they will be prepped for release and integration and improvement. Although the facility is mainly focused on rehabilitation, there are still potential challenges within the cottage based environment. Some major concerns may include peer pressure, rivalry among the youth, contraband, and behavioral conflicts. The juveniles may struggle with trauma, emotional instability, and negative influences. Proper supervision and staff intervention is extremely important. To reduce the risk factors, staff members will be trained in conflict resolutions, trauma informed care, and behavioral intervention. Under the peer pressure and rivalries, some problem areas could be competition for social status, negative peer influence, group formations within the cottages, which will cause potential verbal and physical conflicts, and then monitoring and intervention will be required. For contraband and rule violations, it will prohibit prohibited items threaten safety, manipulation of privileges, repeated behavioral violations, regular room inspections will be conducted. For the behavioral and emotional challenges, emotional trauma, instability difficulties with anger, mental health concerns among the juveniles, and struggle with authority, counseling and behavioral therapy will be provided for that. And for supervision and conflict management, the conflict resolution strategies, consistent cottage supervision, focus safety on the rehabilitation, and behavioral intervention program. Overall, our juvenile rehabilitation facility focused on rehabilitation rather than harsh punishment. Through the use of counseling, education, vocational programs, structured supervision, and a privilege system, the facility is designed to reduce and support long term behavior change. While challenges such as peer pressure and behavioral conflict may occur, proper staff intervention and supportive services can help juveniles successfully integrate into society. Here are all our references, and thank you.